Hello, everybody. Today, we are going to talk about my most recent manic episode. And trust me, it's a good one. It's almost as severe. Well, I wouldn't say almost as severe as you can get. There are certainly way worse things like running naked on the street and stuff. But it was pretty severe. I don't want to give any spoilers, so you just have to listen. So, the precursor leading up to this, I think, was finals. Finals has been very stressful. I passed chemistry and English. I'm taking math finals soon, and I'm taking my programming assignment final tomorrow. I switched my major from meteorology to data science because, honestly, I've been talking about on this channel for a long time that it's not about following your passion, it's about what makes money. You know, to me, it's like you work 40 hours a week. If you sleep 8 hours, theoretically, that's 56 hours, and you have 72 hours off. So do you want your 72 hours off worrying about bills, worrying about retirement, or do you want to be financially free? Do you want to live in a nice big home and, like a nice 3,000 square foot spacious home with a nice ping pong table inside, have enough for retirement, get to go out and eat some lamb chops once in a while? Yeah, that's what I want. I want the good shit. Fuck following your passion. I can learn my passion in the free time, which is meteorology, but I want the money. You know what I mean? I promise I'm not in mania. That sounds like a manic thing, like, oh, I just want money, and, I'm not in mania right now. We're going to be talking about that in a minute. But basically, meteorology, I just found that... Hold on, let me take my lanyard off. I basically just found that it doesn't make a lot of money for most jobs. I think Indeed lists the average salary of $50,000. I'm becoming a data science major, and I'm only going to get my bachelor's degree because that's all I need to make a six-figure salary. These jobs, entry-level jobs start at $120,000 a year. Some of them. They're better than engineering. I encourage everyone to look into data science or machine learning engineer jobs. They make way more than any engineering job. Like, most engineering jobs are at 100,000. Data scientists, machine learning engineers are like 140 average salary. So today we're going to be talking about my most recent manic episode. No spoilers. So it started when I had symptoms of mixed hypomania/hypomania in the prior days before leading up to the manic episode. I was on Roblox a lot and trolling a lot, basically. It didn't really have any effect in real life, because my goal-oriented behavior was just spending all fucking day online instead of doing schoolwork and other things that I should have. I'm a procrastinator, so yeah, but basically it was just online. I was just trolling for like 6 or 7 hours. Time flew. And I was just really euphoric. I was in the lobby laughing hysterically, and I can't remember if I had racing thoughts or not. I was just distracted by this fucking game. But anyways, I wouldn't even say it was hypomania. I would just say it's hypomanic symptoms. So probably does not meet the DSM-5 criteria for hypomania, but I had hypomanic and mixed symptoms. I had some depression during the time. So yeah. That brings me to early this week. Late last week, early this week. This started on, I would say, Friday and lasted until Monday. Was it Monday that I got out? Well, I'm not going to say. Was it Friday? Friday until Sunday. So it was 3 days of pure mania. But it doesn't meet the DSM-5 criteria yet. We're going to get to that. So on Friday, I I started talking really fast, had a very bad thought disorder. I, had higher self esteem. I was very irritable, very distracted. I don't know how distracted I was, but pretty distracted on basic things. I had, I was like sexually a lot more active, like, um, you know, and I was I was like had agitation. Like I would move my I would like move a lot. Like I would I would like move my legs and move my arms a lot. Like no non-goal purpose behavior. Like there was no goal. It was just purposeless movement. Um, so yeah, talk really fast, racing thoughts, probably more distractible. I had increased self-esteem, and I moved around a lot, and I had impulsivity, like a lot of goal-directed behavior, or no, basically movement that has no goal. Let's just put it that way. I also, later that evening, started developing psychosis. Now, it wasn't your typical old, delusions or whatever. No, it was a bit more serious this time. I had paranoid delusions that there was an ambulance there. I thought it was for me. You see how ridiculous that sounds? I thought it was for me, so I had to avoid people. And I would have hallucinations too. Stuff out of the corner of my eye I could see. I had visual hallucinations. I don't know if I had auditory hallucinations. I thought I heard banging, not like not like that, but like banging noises, like hammer, like boom, 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 like that. So yeah, I had paranoid delusions and I had hallucinations. So that was very fun. I would pace back and forth too. I also had very disorganized behavior, which is another sign of psychosis, where I just paced back and forth in the hallway in my dorm room. I was so scared of like I would be transported to the hospital, so I just kept in my room and I was just like a mess. I was very nervous, very scared, very manic. Like psychosis like that is a sign of very bad mania. So yeah. And then what happened? Well, Saturday comes around. I'm still manic. The psychosis has ended. Saturday night comes and I can't turn in a programming assignment, and I lose my headphones. So I get extremely angry. I start throwing things around the apartment. I almost kicked and shattered a microwave, like the glass on a microwave. I was very angry. I've had outbursts, but I don't think I've had an outburst that bad. It was pretty bad, I would say. I have anger issues, but and that's also a sign of bipolar disorder is when you're not in a manic or depressed episode, you have bad impulse control. Like that is part of the statistical manual. What it states is basically that as the disease progresses, you basically become more impulsive, and the part that regulates. You want to know what the scary part of bipolar disorder is? This is the worst part about bipolar disorder. It reduces gray matter in your brain. It's linked to higher rates of dementia and cognitive decline as the disease progresses, and can affect memory, attention, concentration, and cause extensive damage to the prefrontal cortex, which regulates your emotions. So anybody that just claims, it's depression and mania, it's so much more than that. It is a disease. It is a literal fucking disease that you live with for the rest of your life, and you can suffer cognitive decline and emotional regulation damage. it is literally one of the, it's like schizophrenia bad. Anybody that claims that, oh, it's just a bit of depression and mania, it's nothing, they're fucking retarded, okay? This disease is like much worse than that. So anyways, back to what I was saying. So I started destroying stuff in my dorm. Like, I would grab these headphones that were cheap because I lost my other headphones. And there were like cheap headphones on my desk, and I just threw them on the floor, and they bounced really high. Like, they would fucking bounce really high, and I was like yelling and shit. And then I would go out of my fucking dorm. I would go out of my dorm and get into a verbal fight, really for no reason, at the elevator. And I was very paranoid that it would lead to an assault, like it would lead to a physical fight. Like, we got into a verbal fight. Did I threaten anything? No. Even when I'm manic, I don't ever like to threaten physical violence, but I can get very verbal with people, very, like, get into verbal altercations. So I said, oh my god, I just can't take it anymore. So I called the police department at my university, and I told them I'm having a manic episode. I'm very self-aware about these things. But when I had my hypomanic and mixed hypomanic symptoms as the precursor to this event, I wasn't actually aware. You know, most times when I get into an episode, I think a lot about the disorder. But this time, and I've had depression like that too. I've had episodes where it wasn't that. This time, I didn't think of it. It just came on, just like that. It just literally came on for no reason. Like, well, it came on to the stress, but I wasn't even I didn't even know that I was was having hypomanic symptoms and mixed symptoms. So, anyways, so basically, I called the police department. They sat me down. It was around midnight, and I basically got transported to the nearest mental hospital. And it was not involuntary. I voluntarily did it. But it was so severe that the doctors there agreed that I should go inpatient. And we'll talk about my experience at the mental hospital. But yeah, they basically agreed it was so bad that I should do inpatient. I was laughing hysterically. It was almost impossible to, like, interpret what I was saying. I was, like, almost incoherent at that point. I was not having psychosis when I sat down with the doctor. But it was very bad. I was almost incoherent. I had very euphoric mania. It was bad. It was really, really bad. I was very grandiose. Well, sort of. I had high self-esteem. When I have manic episodes, I don't really have grandiosity. I have higher self-esteem, though, which is still a sign of mania in the DSM-5. You can either have increased self-esteem or grandiosity. Either one of them. Either one of them counts. I have a touchscreen, sorry. Let's do that more. Whee! Alright, anyways. So, yes. So, it took about 7 hours for me to get processed. Apparently the ICD-10 code, I figured this out, that I received was, what is it? Bipolar disorder, because they don't define bipolar 1 or bipolar 2 in the ICD-10. Bipolar disorder, current episode, manic severe with anxious features. I was very anxious about my finals. I displayed several very prominent signs of mania that was very severe, and I got admitted. The doctor did not think that I was a threat to others or myself. Her colleague did, though, and so they thought, okay, he needs to be admitted. So I signed the papers and I went in the hospital. There was a woman there that was crazy in the lobby, by the way. She had a temper tantrum, and like she thought they put meds in the water, and they were the government's controlling your mind, all sorts of fucking crazy shit. So I went in the mental hospital 11 p.m. I saw the doctor at about 4 a.m. and I got admitted I think 6 a.m. or so, and I got into my dorms by like 7. Like I got into my mental hospital dorm by 7. And we'll display some of the tricks and tips that I used to get out early, because I got out very early. So I actually rested for quite a while. I rested until 3 p.m., I think. So yeah, I rested until 3 p.m. Because again, like when your clock is turned off, and I can get somewhat normal sleep with mania. The actual thing is that I tried taking a nap during a manic episode, and what wasn't disturbed was my sleep itself. It was actually the number of dreams that I was having, and this is what the doctor asked me, and I told her, yes, actually, I've been having dreams inside of dreams. And I'm not kidding, like literally in the dream I would pinch myself to see if I was dreaming and wake up in another dream. That's how much dreams I was having when I was sleeping during mania. It's a sign of brain activity and stress. So that indicates that this was probably stress-induced because of finals. So basically, I got admitted. I slept until 3 p.m. Sunday. I made some friends. First, I had a friend named John who was also bipolar. Bipolar I disorder. And he was pretty manic. At times, he had delusions. Like, he thought centipedes were in his nose. Yeah. I mean, when I have delusions, I never think of shit like that. Like, I know it's bullshit. Like, when I was in the waiting room and she was like, they're putting meds in the water, that girl, I was like, yeah, right. Like, when I'm in mania, I still have common sense, sort of. Like, I still somewhat have common sense, but it's very impaired. Anyways. So, yeah. I made friends. John was one of them. He had bipolar I disorder. He was manic, but he wasn't running around, screaming. There was another boy there. Well, man. I mean, this was an adult facility because I'm 19 now. I started this channel when I was like 15 or some shit. It's actually crazy how long it's been. It's been like 4 years since I started this channel. 4 years. It's actually quite insane. So anyways, another guy got admitted. I never asked him for his name, but he had bipolar disorder apparently since 10. And I told him that I most likely had it since I was 12. I never really thought about me having childhood bipolar disorder until I realized that I think I had a manic episode in 7th grade where I would purposefully disrupt. I had ADHD meds. I was on ADHD meds for a long time, but this was a distinct period of abnormal and persistently elevated mood and goal-directed activity. My goal was to basically harass the teacher and basically be part of the cool kids. I had that grandiosity. I want to be, I want to become friends with the people that are awesome. Like, I had that self-esteem, that goal-directed activity. And I would move around a lot in my seat. I can't remember if I had racing thoughts, but I think I probably did. My racing thoughts were, how can I cause more trouble? Right? I would basically just not pay attention to class. I was very distracted, and it was very unusual because I was on ADHD meds, and I commonly listened to lectures, but during this time period, I don't think I listened to lectures as much because I wanted to cause as much problems as possible. So yes, it was I think, and it lasted about 2 weeks. So I think it could fall under the category of a manic episode, especially considering I had ADHD for a long time. I was medicated for a long time, and it was that distinct period. When I got in trouble, I actually laughed. I was laughing when I got in trouble. I never got called into the office or anything, but I was a troublemaker, and I laughed when I got in trouble. Like, I didn't care about the consequences. So, yeah. I think the criteria would be met considering I've had ADHD in the past, and it never caused problems because I was medicated, but all of a sudden there's this 2-week period where, I have these array of symptoms. So yes, I think it was a manic episode. And then I had periods of depression when I was 14, 15. You guys seen that on this channel. When I was 15, I would say in mixed episodes a lot of the times. I had that urgent, racing thoughts and, very dysphoric thing, and I would freak out on this channel. I think you guys witnessed that. So, it's most likely I had pediatric bipolar disorder. So I told him this. The other really nice friend that I had was named Tyler. He was catatonic. I would not be surprised if he was a catatonic schizophrenic. He moved, talked very slow. He had a very dull, flat mood. He was having negative symptoms and catatonic symptoms. And disorganized, his disorganized thinking, because his thinking was slowed. He was probably in a schizophrenic episode. He was in his 20s, but he looked like a teenager. He didn't even tell me his age either. He had inappropriate responses. He didn't even tell me his exact age. He just said, I'm in my early 20s. What kind of response is that? That's fucking insane, dude. I'm in my early 20s? Who the fuck says that? It's very unusual, very strange. But him and I became really good friends. He would never smile, but he would, fist bump me and everything. He was a really nice guy. I think he just suffers from limited emotional range, from schizoid or schizophrenia. It's possible he has schizoid personality. He's certainly in that range of disorders in the in the schizophrenia spectrum disorders, or at least the personality disorders that are connected to schizophrenia, like schizoid personality. So I became really good friends with him. During my time at the mental ward, I slept quite a bit. I think because I was so exhausted from mania that I was just, and I got medication. I recovered within 24 hours being there, even less than 24, I would say. So I was only there for 2 days because I worked with the technicians. I went and attended classes to use as leverage to get out. If you're ever in the psych ward, you want to use classes as basically a way to get out. Imagine the nurse comes and checks on you. Are you doing okay? How'd you do today? oh, I did pretty good, versus I did pretty good and I attended anger management classes and meditation classes, and I'm hoping to use them in the future. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a job resume to get out, basically. You want to convince them that you are a candidate to get out. So, yeah. The other people there, it was quite scary because here's the thing, right? When you're involuntary, it doesn't matter. You do not get out until they deem you as healthy. It doesn't matter what your parents do. Once you're a legal adult, if you sign, you're basically signing your rights away. Now, I didn't really care that people were watching me all the time, and that, I mean, I am somewhat authoritarian myself, and I get that this was a mental hospital, so I didn't really care. The only thing I cared about was they checked on me during sleeping, and it wasn't really because I had a problem with privacy. It was because I just wanted to fucking sleep, and I couldn't sleep because they keep coming in. So, yeah. But I worked with the technicians because those are the people that you want to convince in the mental ward. I took showers twice a day because that eats up like 40 minutes if you take 20-minute showers or two 15-minute showers. It eats up a lot of time really quickly. I took a nap too during the mid-hour days because those usually go by the slowest. You realize that like 2-3 p.m. is usually the slowest time of the day. Like the morning always goes by pretty quickly because you're just waking up, and you're not really bored because you're just waking up, right? And then night for some reason goes by really quickly as well. So yeah, I mean, yeah. So I took showers, I took naps, I watched television, and there was a couple incidents, a couple fights. One girl basically kicked another girl and spilled water on her, and then she they pulled her hair, and then she went on top of the counter and knocked a bunch of markers on the ground and almost slammed a fucking TV on the ground. Very violent. And then she tried to run off, and like there was the sound system like code green, unit blah blah, you know what I mean? So that was interesting. It's a lot like prison, the mental ward. Except there's one key distinction, right? If you're a pencil, the main distinction is that people at the mental ward kind of want to be left alone. Like if they don't see you as a threat, they don't care, and they're willing to become friends with you. Versus in prison, they'll just beat your ass if you're a pencil, or they'll demand shit from you because they can. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the main distinction between the mental ward. Here, I know you guys don't like seeing that fucking red on the bottom of the screen, so there we go. So, yeah. I got discharged Tuesday, and I took one of my finals. I passed chemistry, college chemistry, which is really difficult. And I, with a C, I almost got a B, very close to a B. And I also, it's quite nice. And I passed English with the C as well. I know that sounds crazy. How can you get a C in English? I don't know. I just feel like the teacher was picky. You know, like I worked very hard on my essays and she would give me C's. And, you know, that's the thing with English. It's not really an objective thing, right? If the teacher feels like your essays are, you know, blah, blah, then she can just take off points. You know, there could have been another English teacher that if I could have gotten a B. A lot of essays are opinion-based, right? They're not as objective-based as, like, chemistry. You got the answer wrong, right? English is not like that. When you write a paragraph, it's opinion-based. I don't care because I'm switching to another university and my GPA will not be on record. I still have to take my calc test. My teacher basically said I could take it in early January. and I gotta make sure I take it before classes begin so I can enroll in Calc 2. I think I'll be able to pass Calc 1. I really do. I would have to get like a 50 on the final to not pass Calc 1. So, anyways, yeah, that's all. That was my manic episode. It did not last 7 days, in my opinion. It might have if you add on the hypomanic symptoms period, but in the mixed symptoms period. But it did not last 7 days. But it landed me in the hospital, so it means that if it lands you in the hospital, even if it's voluntary, it automatically means it's a manic episode. So I had a manic episode. Wonderful, lovely, with psychotic features. Lovely. Yeah, I had a lovely fucking time. When I'm manic, my sleep is not as affected as much, and I count myself very lucky, because I can't imagine being manic and staying up all night. Like, that must fucking suck ass, you know? Imagine being up all night in, like, the mental ward with, like, no phone. You know what I mean? Like, you have no phone at all. I can't imagine that. That fucking sucks ass. I would ask for all the sleep medication I could, because I could not handle a night without a phone. And obviously the TV is off, right? God damn it. Obviously the TV is off, right? So basically, you're in the fucking hospital awake, can't sleep, there's no phone, there's no television. The only thing that you can do is talk to the technicians. And talking is slow, unless you're at a restaurant. Restaurant burns time. Like, if you're at a restaurant, it burns time. So that's the thing, too, is you might think, oh, well, 2 30-minute showers, or 2 15-minute showers, 20-minute showers, which equates to, what, 30 or 40 minutes? Well, that's not that much time, but it is, considering when there's 3 meals a day. The meals go by really quickly. When you eat, time goes by really quickly, right? That's when I say, if you're at home, naps and showers are your best friend if you're bored. If you're bored, take a shower. Yeah, use showers as a tool for boredom, basically, is what I would say. Anyways, that's all. One more thing I wanted to mention is I had some depressive symptoms after my manic episode, but those lasted about 24 hours. Keep in mind, I have had full major depressive episodes and mixed episodes before. The ICD-11 states that mixed episodes do not have to last 2 weeks if you've had them in the past, and manic episodes do not have to last 1 week if there is treatment intervention and there is, or you have a prior history of them. But, so it's different from the DSM-5, but, you know. So, anyways, that's all. See ya.